A lot of times I would also say that I'll work on it. I'll change. I'll get better. Like, I'm sorry I did that. It won't happen again. I'm sorry you feel that way. Like, I won't do it again. And then nothing would change. I'd still do it again. A narcissist oftentimes manipulates you to stay by playing on your emotions, your will, your desires, your love to get you to view what he wants you to do. You see, inside my relationship with my wife, she tried to leave multiple times. Emphasis on tried. Not because I held the door, not because I locked her into her room, not because I shackled her to the bed, but she tried to leave multiple times and didn't. Why? Because a narcissist will manipulate you to stay. Manipulate you to stay in the relationship. So my wife would get really upset because I cheated, because I hurt her, because I betrayed her. And she would get all worked up and upset because I wasn't providing any space. I was yelling, I was raging, she was walking on eggshells, and then she'd be like, fine, I'm just going to leave. And I'll be like, fine, leave. And then she'd go up and get ready and start packing her bags. And I'd go up and be like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm leaving. I'm like, no, you're not. She'd be like, yeah, I am. But like, we said we were going to work on this together. You said you loved me. You said we were gonna be together forever. Like, we got married for this. Okay, but you're treating me this way. You're abusing me. I don't think she ever said abuse, but it might have been. And I would use multiple different ways to convince her to stay. I get frustrated because it was invoking shame because she was going to leave. She was going to walk away. And I didn't want to deal with the shame. I didn't want to deal with accountability. So then I had to do something. Typically it was blame. Can't believe you're giving up. Like, you're just going to leave? What about us? What about our daughter? You're just going to walk away? That's what you want? That's what you want for her? Vindictive things to try to get her to re-engage, to try to get her to respond, to try to get a reaction out of her. Like, I can't believe you're doing this. Trying to make sure that she was going to defend the fact that she was actually going to flip and then stay. Trying to manipulate, reverse psychology, trying to push so that she actually wants to pull back. All of these different things. Trying to make sure that she doesn't actually leave. Because if she leaves, then I have to deal with that. If she leaves, then I have to deal with the shit that it's my fault. So I'm just trying to figure out, how do I actually keep her? How do I actually make her stay? So she's packing up, she's getting ready to leave, and I'm just like, can we not talk about this? She's like, well, we have been talking. Like, we haven't gotten anywhere. Well, I know, it's because we have this communication thing. Like, we just need to go to counseling. Like, I'm just going to schedule counseling. Like, if you would just go to counseling, we would get this solved. Other people don't have this problem. They don't have this problem with communication like we do. Constantly blaming, constantly pushing. Doesn't work, doesn't do anything. But for the narcissist side, it works to keep you stuck. Because you'll work on speaking back, you work on getting frustrated, you work on all different pieces of it, and he still got you stuck. Now, a lot of times I would also say that I'll work on it. I'll change. I'll get better. Like, I'm sorry I did that. It won't happen again. I'm sorry you feel that way. Like, I won't do it again. And then nothing would change. I'd still do it again. I'd still fall back into the same patterns, do the same things over and over and over again. Get frustrated at myself for doing it. Get frustrated at her for calling me out. Like, it didn't stop. It just kept going and perpetuating. The thing is, the narcissist in the moment just is trying to get you to forget about the exact moment. That's it. He's not trying to change. He's not trying to do anything different. He just wants you to forget the fact that he just screwed up. Because you remember, you say, you showcase, hey, this is what you just did. Apologize for it. And instead of apologizing for it and changing his behavior, pushes past it, rages out, blames on you. All of these different things to avoid what's actually going on. The reality that's here. You'll see this so many times inside of the toxic relationship where he will try to manipulate you to stay, preying on your weaknesses, your insecurity, the kids, like threatening all these different things to keep you from actually leaving, to make sure that you actually stay. It's all a manipulation tactic. I got to the place where I was saying I was going to change. I was trying to book different couples counseling. I was booking different therapy for myself, being like, see, I'm going to do all these things. Half of them didn't come to fruition. The other that did just were manipulative measures. There were things that I was like, see, I'm going to do this. And then I wouldn't. See, I'm working on this, but then it didn't change anything. And there's this process sometimes that narcissists go through of pretending to go to therapy. Some just pretend and don't actually go. Some pretend by going but not actually getting deep. But instead, they twist it around and they blame you. So in the session, they're like, yeah, I'm making a lot of progress because my therapist is saying I'm working on me. And it's you. It's your problem, right? They're going to manipulate different pieces. But they'll manipulate you being like, I'm going to work on it. Here's the piece that you need to understand. If you don't get anything from any of my videos and you can get just this one concept, this could change your life. You've been in this relationship for, let's say, 5 years, 20 years. And inside this relationship, you've always asked several things of him. You've always wanted him to make you feel special. You've always wanted that communication and that connection that you used to have. You've always wanted time together. You've always wanted to have a deeper relationship. You always wanted him to just take a pause from work so he can engage with the kids, so he can engage with you. All these things are things that you wanted in your heart and that you've communicated and been upset about, that you even raged out sometimes to him because you're so frustrated that he's just not getting your needs and understanding you. And then you finally got to a place where you're just, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I have to be able to work on myself. I have to do this for the kids. You start to realize that this is the piece. And then all of a sudden things start to shift. And when things start to shift, it's typically not because you say anything. Typically not. You will get to the place where you will declare and you will say, I'm leaving. But it's not because you say, hey, I really want you to go on dates with me every week. Like, I really feel like we'd get connected if we do that. You've already said that. You've already expressed that a million times. Now you've just expressed that you're just leaving. Hey, you're done. You want a divorce. You want out. And the next day, he schedules a date night. The next day, he buys you flowers. The next day, he comes home early to engage with you and the kids. And this puts like a warm feeling in your heart because you're like, oh, maybe that got through to him. Maybe that woke him up. Maybe that made him realize like just what I need. And this is what I need you to hear and what I need you to understand. At the end of the relationship, when you have declared, when you have stated, I am leaving, I am done, I am divorcing you, and he starts doing the things that you've always wanted him to do, it's a lie. It's manipulation. Because inside of this moment, what he's actually doing and what's actually happening is he's modifying the things in his life to make sure that he has a secure hold on your heart. That he won't let you leave because of the fact that he needs you to stay so he feels better about himself. So as a result, he changes. He shifts. He molds. He modifies who he is in the moment so that he can feel better about himself and so he can keep you in the relationship. Now here's the punchline to this that I need you to understand. You haven't said anything over the past 3 months, let's say, about what you want. Then you finally say, I'm getting a divorce, I'm separating, I'm leaving. Then he starts doing all the things you've said for 20 years that you've wanted. You saying divorce and him magically starting to do all the things you wanted him to do proves that the entire time he didn't give it to you shows that he knew, he understood, and he purposely chose to manipulate you. He purposely decided, I am not going to give her those date nights. I am not going to connect with her. I am not going to give her the flowers. I'm not going to treat her how she wants me to treat her because I don't need to, because she's trapped. So why would I do any of that? I've got her. It doesn't really matter. I can do whatever I want. And then when you state that you're actually going to leave, when you state that you're going to go, when you're going to separate, when you make this verbal intention and declaration that you're going to liberate yourself from him, he's realized he's out of options of showing up as a coward. He's out of options of all the previous manipulations. He's out of options because they no longer work on you. So he's like, what can I do that's going to keep her stuck? I know. Why don't I do all the shit that she told me to do to start off with? And it's not because he got this epiphany. It's not because he got this awareness. It's not because all of a sudden he has this heart change. He had 20 years to do it, and he chose not to. Oh, it wasn't that he forgot. It was that he didn't care. It wasn't that, I just didn't prioritize it right. No, you didn't matter to him. When a narcissist changes at the end of the relationship, it's not because he finally figured it out and got his wake-up call. It's because every single thing that he'd been doing no longer works on you because you're stepping up into your power. So he has to change his manipulative tactics to get his talents back in you and to hold you back into the relationship because the narcissist wants to keep you stuck. How long will you stay stuck? How long will you stay trapped? When will you be free?